nice.
My sister lives here, so
Oh, really?
I'll spend time with her and her family.
Wow, that's perfect.
Only time I get to see him since.
It was our only time here. I didn't even
It
realize
was
that
back to back. I'm like, I told him back in January, I'm like, I'm not gonna make the second Lakers game.
Yeah.
Someone else can do it.
That was a fun one, though.
Yeah, I was, we're eating, I'm following him on my app, and then I started getting a conversation with him, and I look at him and like, they have 80 points. What is going on?
Yeah.
Score, score, score! Is this on mic? Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. It works.
Yes, I am.
Gotta go in.
That's not an indictment at all.
Oh yeah.
That's just like. Okay, see, I saw it. How are you?
Good. How are you? Long time no see.
I know, right? Hey,
Huh?
so, hey, Paris.
Oh, hi.
You made it.
I did. I didn't realize there was no second bus today. I had to go over
Cage.
with Chris and Mike.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're pros at this.
There was too much anticipation for that. It was a lot of effort. It was. Hindsight. Should have just done it.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Effort outcome was not in your favor. Okay. Are you doing any coverage for the draft for
Me?
NFL?
Me doing NFL?
I haven't watched an NFL game since 2016.
No.
Oh, what's it now? That was just funny because no one's asking that one. Yes. Sure. Used to be a Cowboys fan. Yeah.
Oh.
Come back. And then when Romo and that whole contingent left, I was like, I'm done.
A couple years ago, yeah.
How would you not? Never tuned into a game? Nothing? Not like if I'm at like a restaurant or something. Yeah, but
Not even one team.
do you know like current players or anything?
Tyler Murray.
You're a native.
No, I really don't.
Welcome
I-
to Phoenix.
More of a basketball, and now I'm getting back into baseball. Well, just you're aware, there's better football out there than Kyler Murray to be seen.
Okay.
If you think
So I've heard of.
That's not start. It's alright.
Didn't we have this? Wasn't there a draft conversation in this room about yesterday?
What about it past us? It being in Green Bay or something like that? Well, that was David. Yes. Okay. David was talking about that with me.
I'm a subscriber to that new podcast. When it started.
Yeah, man.
So is that.
Hopefully that, I think it would take over the world.
Yeah. There's a lot of,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
stick to it right now. You
He's
should
like
really
moving
jump
up
on
second,
it.
third round now.
I still think that.
First guest should be about
I think that's.
the two of you
Yeah, no.
couch somewhere, coasting some red wine.
No, Brad. I mean, I'm Brad here.
One of my best friends is a Vikings fan, and he's like, I don't know what I would do if that would happen.
I get along good with Durant too.
I won't even do it.
Yeah. What about the D&D show?
I mean, he's recovered from injury, but
So I have to,
listen, like, no disrespect.
Durant didn't tell me the truth.
Disrespect to Rogers, but like,
So
he's
would
like
Bradley.
an old man now.
I think it's kind of so Mom's gotta tell him.
I know.
Book is too, like, worried about his brand to tell the truth.
20, like 20?
So then after that, I know, trust me, but after that, I'm gonna.
That is true. Good defense, Byron Murphy. Eric, I'm not mad at Eric Kendricks anymore.
But I only had so many, that first game, not even this game.
I want sustainability, so.
Because those Dodgers. Well, that's what I was thinking, but then, even if, depending on how things go, like, that meeting goes the way it's supposed to, it's more like you. I don't know what's that. Wait, really?
Thank you, Brian. Very cool.
I didn't see that yesterday.
No, like, this is cool. Here's best of all time. Everyone has an orange. It's like all time. He's playing dome. He's out there with terrible turf. I've seen too many dudes with Achilles on that.
Yep. Barry and I double dips.
Yep.
Barry's a hard one.
The chances management.
So it's a good trip.
Or did you go sit with the?
I was just, yeah, just sat working.
Yeah, people all react.
Yeah, Alex was there, so.
Oh, no, he's working, but I'm talking about, yeah, a good group.
He's not an AFC.
Oh, no, it's just,
They
had, I was, no, I was up in,
Let's put her
I was up in the
He was in the box.
But yeah, they were,
not all. But the AFC North,
had
the
this thing,
AFC.
yeah, they cleaned out over there too. Oh, yeah, the rumble, yeah, there's some
West
video
Coast
there.
for them.
Yeah.
Offense is like spread.
Yeah.
Let's throw the ball. Listen, 20 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
Analyst replacement?
That's huge for a lot of guys.
Have they announced the analyst?
Big shoes. He's great. He used to be the thing for me. He's always been good when I've been on the shows. We've been interviewing.
No, I don't. Oh, okay.
I don't know if he wants it.
I think I might have done.
I think he's got it.
True.
That, okay. I just basically things writing his name. It sounds like what you mean, very interesting. I hope does that sound possible to you? Do you just want that to potentially inside the world? There's more to say. Okay, so you know he's still not there. Yeah, no, it's continuing to. And then you have like 2 years later when you hear some weird. But I don't think you realize it was me because it was through the office.
It's okay.
Any comment now?
My quarterback, Kyler Murray, is going to lose to go. You gotta stay. That's your
Mark, you have another great competitive challenge in front of you tonight, just with the Suns, kind of where they're at, and the personnel that they've got going for them. What's key for you all in this matchup from an approach standpoint, and then from an execution standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, understanding the psychology of the opponent. They're coming off a tough loss. They have to win to stay alive in the play-in picture, and so we have to understand that we're going to have a motivated opponent tonight that's going to be ready to play. And obviously, the top-end personnel, the shot-making of those guys is what stands out when you game plan against them. You just can't give them anything easy. You got to make them earn everything, and even if you do, the shots will go in. So it's a great challenge for us, great opportunity for us to continue to improve and sharpen our blade as we run through the finish line here.
I was talking to Coach Budenholzer about J-Dub, and just he was remarking about what a great development story he is, not just before he got to the Thunder, but since getting here. And I just wonder if you've had any conversations with Dub about his path even to the NBA. He was not even 6 feet tall, I think, when he was in high school, and just maybe what that has maybe brought to his game and his mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked specifically about it with him a ton, but we obviously know his story very well from learning him in the draft and then learning him since then. And he was a late bloomer. He grew late. He played point guard. He was very under-recruited. He wasn't like a huge high school name. Went to a small school, stayed at a small school. Not a lot of guys stay at a school like that the way that he did, especially in the current college basketball climate. And then was even, in the draft, wasn't projected, even as late as a few weeks before the draft, wasn't projected to go as high as he did. So he's always been coming from behind, and he's always been a little bit of a late bloomer, but it's given him an incredible edge, and the thing about him is, as great of a player as he's turned himself into, the thing about him that I truly appreciate most probably is how hard he plays every night. Like there's never a night that he's not playing hard. He's just got an unbelievable work capacity and effort, and he's got all the stuff. He's got pull-up threes. He's got 3-level scoring. He can guard everybody on the court. He can play make. He can play off the ball. But when you've got a base of effort like that at his physical profile, that really raises your floor as a player. There's never a bad game. He can have an off night, shooting the ball, but he never plays a bad game, and it's because he plays so hard.
Coach, you guys have been a low turnover team all season long. The last couple of games, just 7 turnovers in each of those games. Is there anything that you want to carry over into tonight that you saw offensively that would lead to that?
Yeah, we don't go into the game, believe it or not, telling the team not to turn it over. We focus more on fundamentals and more on execution, and trust that if we are fundamentally sound and we execute, that we'll generate quality shots, together. And part of generating a quality shot is getting a shot, and the team's done a great job of that. So there was certainly a huge part of the game last night. They shot the ball exceptionally well. They doubled us in free throws. They had 18 second chance points, and yet we were able to win that game because we shot it well. We beat them at the rim, beat them in transition, and we were really light on the turnovers. It was 18-6, I think.
Coach, when you've coached rookies who have been like a plug and play, able to compete right away and contribute right away, what are some of the similar attributes that you've seen over your coaching career that those guys have in their ability to come fresh off the draft, have a good summer with you guys, and then play right away?
That's a good question. Every player is different. I think it's a broad answer because every player is different. It's a different reason for Dub than Cason Wallace than A.J. Mitchell. But it's impact, if they can have, impact on the game in some way or impact on the team in some way, that's what allows you to play them early. And then the challenge for us becomes, even though they're having an early impact on a team that's been successful, how do we make sure they're still growing? And it's easy to focus on the growth when you're in the rebuilding phase because that's all you have. But when the team becomes successful and you're capable of winning, games, it's you really have to thread the needle, and we have to really check ourselves. We've got to make sure that we're not just like locking Cason Wallace into the version of player that he is now because he's still 21, and there's a lot of runway for him, and he can get a lot better. And we need to make sure we're facilitating that process, even though he's playing early. So it's not just about getting them an early starting point. It's about making sure that they're growing, with that starting point as well.
Sumati Kamara was a guy who never played here, but in between Vegas and when he was traded, everyone just raved about how he was looking in summer workouts. How important is that time for you with rookies, where like getting past summer league and then getting to the work in your building and building from there?
Yeah, everything's a data point, and nothing is. They're all just singular data points. They all matter, but they're all not evaluated in a vacuum. So. If a guy plays well in summer league, it's certainly relevant. If a guy doesn't play well in summer league, it's not an indictment on their future in the NBA. And so we take it a step at a time with them. We try to stay very present. We try not to make assumptions. We try not to have too many expectations or predictions. We just kind of observe and evaluate what's right in front of us. In the draft process, right after summer league training camp, summer league, into the fall, fall build-up, preseason, early part of the season, and even then, there's guys that Jalen Williams for us from Arkansas is a great example. Like in those tests, he did not reveal himself as somebody that, would be playing right away. So he took some G League time, but he made significant progress from the beginning of the fall until like the new year. And by the end of that season, he was starting our play-in game, So like he's an example of a guy that, it's not like he lit the world on fire in summer league, but we just kind of stayed present with him and focused on the next developmental step. And next thing you know, he had a little pop and he's turned himself into a really, really impactful player.
Coach, you obviously got so many responsibilities and duties, so I don't even know how much your mind goes to the MVP race with Shea, but when you're thinking about the season he's had, how much do you take time to think about that part of it, that the MVP is there for him?
I focus more on the team, and the main reason is because that's how they are. Like he's focused on the team. He wouldn't want me more focused on the MVP race than the team. Neither would Dort with Defensive Player of the Year. Neither would Jalen Williams with the stuff that he's probably capable of getting. They all want me team-oriented, but I really root for those guys. And I root for them because I get to see behind the curtain. When you see Shea from a distance, he's incredibly impressive. You see Dort from a distance, incredibly impressive. All these guys are incredibly impressive. When you see them behind the scenes, they're even more impressive. Their character, their consistency, their humility, their team orientation, their competitiveness, and they're not going out there every game chasing an award. They're not trying to pound their chest and lobby for themselves. They're just playing and competing. And that's why I want them to be acknowledged so badly, because those are the types of people that you really root for, especially, like I said, sometimes you see behind the curtain and your opinion goes the other way, but not with these guys. I mean, the more you see them, the more situations you see them in, the more impressive they are.
Anybody else?
Yep, thanks.
Unfortunately, no one else has ever seen. Yeah.